Hey guys, I'm back reading Minion. Remember he just made Rudy hit himself in the nose and knocked a tooth out and he's nice and bloody. So he's getting ready to go in and meet with Mickey, Six Fingers Maloney, and Tony Romano. Michael is. I'm on page 144. The warehouse looks like it has been abandoned for a decade at least. Half the lights are burned out and the other half flicker sporadically. Stacks of empty crates line one wall. A few mouse traps are scattered along the floor, untriggered but baitless. A long wooden table sits in the center of the room and only one man sits at it across from us. Though he is surrounded by a couple dozen thugs standing at attention, I wonder if any of them have special powers like Zach and me, or if they are all just regular, hired muscle, average Joes with questionable consciences and a need to pay the bills. They make a point of hiding their guns, but also make it obvious they're having guns. Lots of right hands tucked inside their coats, except for Mickey. His hands are on the table. He is dressed the same as Tony Romano, except in all the white, like a photo negative. And in contrast to Tony's girth, Mickey Maloney looks more like a scarecrow that has lost half of its stuffing. Very skinny. Gaunt cheeks, shallow eyes, long, skinny neck with pulsing veins and all. The only thing they really have in common is the receding hairline and the criminal empire. Mickey, Tony says in a voice filled with fake courtesy. Tony. Mickey nods back, then cuts me a look. Who's this Cholula with the sparkly shoes? I look down at my feet. In the flickering halogen lights, they do kind of sparkle. Tony introduces me as his new accountant in training. A little young, Mickey says. How high can he count to? All Mickey's goons laughed. None of Tony's do. Rudy pulls out a seat for his boss, chin still streaked with red. I wait stupidly for a moment before I realize I'm supposed to pull out my own chair and sit down next to him. Mickey, this is Michael. Michael, this is Mr. Maloney. I offer my hand for a shake, but the crime boss just gives me the finger. I can't help but stare at it. I always thought, I hear myself say, that I had 6 fingers on one hand. Mickey finishes. You're not the first, kid. But my name's not 11 Fingers Maloney. He continues to hold up the finger. Lost the other 4 to a Rottweiler when I was 15 years old. When they went back to look, they could only find my pointer finger. But I made them put it on my middle finger. That way everyone would know how I really felt. Go on, shake it. He thrusts the gnarled digit at me. I look at Tony, who nods. I bite my lip and look back at the finger just wagging at me, a giant totting worm, laced with scars around the base. I grab hold gingerly. Mickey, 6 fingers, suddenly jerks back, hands shaking, like he's having a seizure. I nearly fall off out of my seat, pulling away from him. I see all Tony's men tense up, but Mickey's men just snort and shake their heads as Mickey composes himself, smoothing out his hair. Gets him every time, he says. I catch my breath. Some joke. I wonder how many 13-year-olds have ever died of a heart attack. I pull myself back in my seat. So what's so important that we have to meet on such short notice, Mickey says, turning his attention to Tony, ignoring me altogether. Tony Romano leans over the table, pushing it back with his gut. You and I both know what's so important. You've been in this town just as long as I have, Mickey. You know what it means. All of a sudden, I have someone like him around. They're all talking about the comet, of course. At least somebody appreciates the gravity of the situation. Tony gets it. Understands how someone like that changes things, alters the rules of the game. He's not our concern, Mickey chides. You know that. Maybe not, Tony says, but he upsets the balance. This town's crowded as it is. There are only so many opportunities, Mickey. I don't know about you, but I'm not interested in losing my share. Neither am I, Mickey says, which is why I'm having a difficult time understanding why I'm sitting here across from you. Behind him, one of Mickey's men sniggers, but a look from his boss shuts him up real quick. Tony Romano puts both meaty hands on the table, clasped as if in prayer. Mickey, this new guy, he's not like us. You've seen what he's capable of. He's not a businessman. He won't listen to reason. I've seen his kind before. He hasn't done much yet, but believe me, he is just getting started. He has plans. Guys like him, they always have a plan. I have plans, Mickey fires back, taking offense. Not like him, you don't, Tony retorts. Besides, he adds, he's attracting unwanted attention. You mean? Mickey whistles and looks up at the ceiling. I look up with him. I don't know what I expect to see, peeling paint and rusted pipes. Tony nods solemnly. And then it dawns on me. The comment is the unwanted attention. So then who's the first guy they're talking about? This is New Liberty, Tony. Mickey says, we've seen it all before. They come, they go, they hold fast, stay out of the way, we stick around. You remember what it's like 10 years ago. I remember, Tony says, and that's exactly why I think we need to reassess our business strategy. It has taken us both a very long time to get where we are. I'm not going to just sit back and let some freak come in and take it all away. I'm not suggesting we start a war. I'm just saying pool our resources and protect what is ours. Tony Romano snaps his fingers and Rudy produces a stack of papers from behind me. I notice most of the bleeding has stopped. Tony reaches inside his suit and pulls out a pair of glasses too small for his face, precariously perching them on his beak. This is an outline suggesting a temporary merger of our two enterprises. We combine everything: business opportunities, contacts, muscle. Your associates become my associates, my caps become your caps, and so on. Most of it's split right down the middle, though as you can see from the blanket statement of the first paragraph, profits from the dual business ventures are split 60-40. Tony pushes the paper across the splintered table. Mickey's 6 fingers pulls out his own pair of reading glasses, 2 wise old professors sitting across from each other, and takes the papers, tracing his one finger down the page. He nods thoughtfully, removes his glasses, folds them neatly, and sets them down. Then he takes a long snort and spits a quivering snot wad that slaps against the paper with a thwack. I taste bile in my mouth. Tony smiles politely. You think I'm an idiot? Mickey says. Is that what you think, Tony? That you would bring me out here with your little punk band and your dorky-looking kid with no decent shoes and throw this piece of garbage in my face? Is that it? I nervously scan the line of trench coats. I get the feeling if somebody so much as coughs, all those hands will spring from their hiding place, filling the air with lead. I'm about ready to dive under the table, but Tony just shrugs and turns to me and in a calm voice and composed says, Michael, please explain to Mr. Maloney that this deal is in the best interest and that he should take it now before it is too late. Tony prods me with one eyebrow. This is my moment, my contribution to the family. Flash back to the talent show, standing there in front of everybody, the cards slipping out of my sweaty hands, fanning and fluttering out all over the stage like butterflies, me on hands and knees trying to collect them. I look at 6 fingers. He's not Rudy, the obedient henchman. He's not the tired shoe salesman at the mall. He's not even Sister Beatrice. He just loogied all over the deal Tony offered him. Pretty sure he's made up his mind. I remember what Dad told me, to keep it in the realm of possibility. Doesn't have to be something they want to do, but they can't be adamantly opposed to the idea either. For a second, I wish I had the little neuro-enhancing spaghetti strainer or whatever Dad was building. And then I remembered it didn't work. I was on my own. Tony coughs impatiently. Mickey Maloney looks back and forth from me to Tony through buggy, scarecrow eyes. Mr. Maloney, I start to say, knowing I'm already doomed. That my heart's not in it. I wonder what Tony will do when it doesn't work. Wonder if he will take it out on Dad somehow. Wonder how I got here in the first place. Not here sitting at this table stuck between 2 crime bosses necessarily, but here at this place in my life where all of a sudden it matters what I do. I think I say. I stop, cock my head to one side. I think I can feel Rudy hovering over me, big beefy hands formed into sledgehammers. I can hear Tony's heavy breathing. I can hear the steady tap of Mickey's middle finger on the table. Seems to have an echo coming from the rafters above me. Tap, 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 like footsteps. I look up. Tony looks up. We all look up, just in time to see the ceiling crashing down. Not the whole ceiling, but enough to end the negotiation. The chunk of plaster, wood, and shingles come crashing down in the middle of the table, smashing it in two. Everybody is up on his feet, looking at his new hole in the ceiling, a dozen guns immediately drawn, expecting to see an army of FBI agents or a platoon of SWAT officers rappelling down. But these aren't the cops. Most of the cops don't know about this place, and those who are paid handsomely to pretend that they don't. The cops don't mess with Mickey or Tony too much, just enough to keep up appearances. Besides, if they did come, they would have to come in force. They figure, standing on the roof, leaning over the new hole he's made, he's alone. That's how most superheroes work. Who is it? I'm going to stop there for right now.